And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. This is from the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 1, from the Webster's Bible translation. Remember, the word revelation in Greek is apocalypse. Welcome to our video on astrology chart revelations for Our Lady of Fatima's second apparition, complete with horoscope houses, zodiac angels, and planetary aspects for June 13th, 1917. That's 1917, the original second apparition, focused upon Fatima, Portugal for location. Yes, this was the occasion of 3 shepherd children's second apparition of Blessed Virgin Mary in Fatima, Portugal, and we are using calculations for June 13th, 1917, which was her second original appearance to Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco. First, our disclaimer. Watching this video or reading this document is an act of spiritual willpower, and any such action is considered magic. High magic should be used with all mindfulness, since powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. If you'd like to learn how to contact me for spiritual consultation or psychic astrology, please visit my website at www.readingsbyrosemary.com. Our Lady appeared to the 3 shepherd children for a second time on June 13th, 1917, making this date in history just one of many miracles performed by Our Lady of Fatima. Her message of this second apparition to Shepherdess Lucia Santos, Shepherdess Jacinta Marto, and Shepherd Francisco Marto was one of instruction and subsequent healing if such directives were followed. Our Lady also predicted that Lucia would have to wait to be taken to heaven, while Jacinta and Francisco would be taken much, much sooner. Catholic Catechism informs us that 50 eyewitnesses were reported to have noticed that the sun's light dimmed when Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco conversed with Our Lady of Fatima. Some observers stated that branches near the zenith of a holy oak tree appeared as if being weighed down by something. A number of spectators heard something resembling the sound they mentioned as if it was a droning bee. Yes, the sound of a droning bee. Shepherd children Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco stated that they saw a, quote, great brilliance, unquote, calling it, quote, lightning, unquote, when speaking of Our Lady of Fatima, according to Catholic Catechism. When Our Lady departed, Lucia wrote these words, quote, these are the words that Lucia wrote, okay, quote, upon saying these last words, she opened her hands, and for the second time she communicated to us the reflection of that intense light. We could see ourselves in it as if immersed in God. Jacinta and Francisco seemed to be in the part of this light that went up towards heaven, and I in the part that was cast down towards the ground. In front of Our Lady's right hand there was a heart encircled by thorns that seemed to pierce it. We understood that it was the Immaculate Heart of Mary, insulted by the sins of humanity, which desires reparation, unquote. When Shepherdess Lucia asked Our Lady, quote, what does your grace wish of me, unquote, then Our Lady replied, quote, I want you to come here on the 13th of next month to pray the rosary every day and to learn to read. I shall later say what I want, unquote. Lucia reported upon the conclusion of this apparition that Our Lady levitated up from atop the holy oak tree while bathed in a brilliant light. She generated and then glided towards the east until she was out of sight of the group of witnesses as well as the 3 shepherd children. Observers stated that the holy oak buds near the top of the tree were bent down in the same direction to which Our Lady traveled. This caused them to have the vision and the apparition that the holly oak tree seemed to have been pulled east, that the branches and the buds were had seemed to be pulled east by her radiant robes which she wore. Again, these are the teachings of Catholic Catechism. Now, let's take a look at this astrology chart I prepared for you, focused on June 13th, 1917, which was second apparition of Our Lady of Fatima in the country of Portugal, when 3 shepherd children returned as Our Lady instructed them. So this astrology chart that I prepared for you is based on June 13th, 1917, and it is the result of doing the astrology chart for Fatima, Portugal, and it is the result of that place, and we've used the time for that location, and also we've used the time of noon, or Zohar, because Zohar fits because it's the brilliant light. Zohar, brilliant light. So there's a lot to do with the Zohar and Our Lady of Fatima. And for those of you wondering, what is the difference between a miracle and magic? It's not really, there's no difference. A miracle is when something happens and you don't know how it occurred. Magic is the explanation of how miracles occur. And if we understand how miracles occur, then we can see more miracles and more healings. For example, when there's healing waters that come out of some healing locations, there's ultimately going to be some technical explanation, now that we have sciences that are strong enough sciences to be able to explain exactly what like quantum physics can explain miracles. Quantum physics explains how these things heal people and how apparitions may occur and how Our Lady of Fatima appears from another dimension Kabbalistically. So, and the Zohar explains all of that. So the Bible is a very important book, of course, and it is more for beginners and children. And then next Talmud is more for people that are interested in making money and are not so more interested in the physical world, whereas the Zohar is for people that want high spiritual advancement. So remember, there's a lot in connection between Zohar and Our Lady of Fatima. Okay, now regarding this astrology chart, this part down here is just a blank chart, but it has all the colors of the Rosicrucian colors associated with astrology. And here, these I've highlighted. This is June 13th, 1917, and these are the areas that are affected on that day that we're going to focus on. I'm just focusing on the 7 ancient planets and the main aspects. We're going to get into the placement of the planets in the zodiac houses, and we're also going to talk about some planetary aspects, how the planets, how they are line up with each other, how they're in alignment with each other. So we're going to start with the Sun in Gemini. So we have the Sun here in the sign of Gemini, the twins, at 21 degrees 50 minutes, that's 50 minutes, in 10th horoscope house of social standing and fame. Planetary Archangel Michael, or Michael, visits dwelling of zodiac angel Umbriel. So this is a beautiful statue of the Archangel Michael, which you can purchase at the store called Pauline's Books and Media in Honolulu, run by the Daughters of St. Paul. They have a lot of beautiful statues and artwork and paintings, and they have wonderful Bibles, and then they have also more advanced works that they sell there, and they also, the sisters themselves are extremely knowledgeable in all things spiritual, and actually are, from what I can tell, they have all the knowledge that someone who studied the Zohar has. They have a lot of knowledge that is very high spiritual knowledge. So you can get rosaries there, miracle rosaries, all kinds of wonderful items for you and your family that were healing items as well. Now, we're going to take a look at the lunar aspects next. We're going to look at Moon in Aries. The Moon in Aries, the sign of Aries. at 7 degrees 15, that's 15 minutes, in 8th horoscope house of birth, sex, death, and debt. Planetary Archangel Gabriel visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Melchidael. So we have the planetary angel Gabriel. Now remember, the Archangel Michael is often associated with Jesus Christ, while the Archangel Gabriel is often associated with Holy Mother Mary. Next, we're going to look at Mercury, the planet Mercury here in the sign of Taurus at 28 degrees 36 minutes in 9th horoscope house of life path meaning. Planetary Archangel Raphael visits abode of Zodiac Angel Asmodel. This is Raphael. Now, next we're going to look at the planet Venus here in the sign of Cancer, the crab, at 4 degrees 41 minutes in 11th horoscope house of friends and reputation. Planetary Archangel Anael visits dwelling of Zodiac Angel Muriel. Now we're going to take a look at the planet Mars. We have the planet Mars here in the sign of Taurus at 28 degrees 59 minutes in 9th horoscope house of life path meaning. Planetary Seraphim Samael visits habitation of Zodiac Angel Asmodel. The planet Jupiter on that day found here. Planet Jupiter was in Taurus at 26 degrees 23 minutes in 9th horoscope house of life path meaning. Planetary angel Sachiel visits abode of Zodiac Angel Asmodel. Now the planet Saturn here was in the sign of Cancer at 28 degrees 42 minutes in 11th horoscope house of friends and reputation. Planetary Archangel Cassiel visits abode of Zodiac Angel Muriel. Significant aspects of 7 ancient planets on June 13, 1917 are as follows. Now I've taken the time to do the 7 ancient planets from Mercury through Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, those 7 planets, and to then also, we're not talking about the Earth because we're on the Earth, but you understand what I mean. Only those planets, and also we're just doing the main aspects. We're not doing the real Menini ones, just the main aspects. Okay, so here we're going to start with the Sun. The Sun on that day would parallel Venus. The Moon was square Venus, so we have the Moon and this red line that goes from here to here into the sign of, into the planet Venus. It's an alignment of the Moon and Venus. Now, the Moon was trine Saturn. Moon trine Saturn on that blue line. Mercury was conjunct Mars on that day. We have the planet Mercury was conjunct with Mars because they're both here, see? And Mercury was conjunct Jupiter also. Here's Jupiter and Mercury. Do you see there's an alignment? Mercury sextile Saturn. Mercury sextile Saturn. So that is here, from Mercury sextile Saturn. Venus square Moon. Venus square Moon, that red line. Venus parallel Sun. So we have Venus parallel with the Sun. Mars was conjunct Mercury. Mars conjunct Mercury. And also Mars conjunct Jupiter. Mars sextile Saturn. Mars sextile Saturn, those sort of purple lines there. And Mars parallel Saturn. So Mars parallel Saturn. We also had Jupiter conjunct Mercury. Jupiter conjunct Mercury. Jupiter conjunct Mars. Jupiter conjunct Mars here. And Jupiter sextile Saturn. Here, Jupiter sextile Saturn, those purple lines. Jupiter conjunct Mercury. Here. Here's Jupiter and Mercury were both here. Jupiter conjunct Mars. Again, Jupiter and Mars both here. And Jupiter sextile Saturn here. In those purple lines. Saturn trine Moon. Saturn trine Moon. That's that blue line. Saturn sextile Mercury. Saturn sextile Mercury going to here on those purple lines. Saturn sextile Mars. Here. Saturn sextile Jupiter. Here. Saturn parallel Mars. Saturn parallel Mars. Again, these are the aspects that occurred on June 13th, 1917, the second apparition of the three shepherd children of Our Lady of Fatima when they saw her. We have the sun. The sun is called Hama, and it's in the sign of Gemini, which is Thummim. So Hama in Thummim. Sun in Gemini, Hama in Thummim. The moon, or Levana, in Aries. We have Levana, moon. So Aries is here, and Gemini again is here. Thummim, and this is Tale for Aries. Tale. That's not the month. That's the constellation, the Hebrew name for the constellation. So the moon, or Levana, in Aries, Tale. The sun, Hama, in Gemini, or Thummim. Mercury is Kokav in Taurus, or Shore. Venus in Noga. Venus is called Noga in Hebrew, in the sign of Cancer, which is called Sartan. Mars is called Ma'adim in the sign of Taurus. Taurus is Shore in Hebrew. Jupiter is the planet Zodiac for the Hebrew association in the sign of Taurus, or Shore. And Saturn is called Shabbathai in the Hebrew astrology, or astronomy, in the sign of Cancer, which is called Sartan. So that is our presentation for June 13th, 1917 in Portugal, Fatima. Fatima, Portugal. And that's we did our chart for 12 noon, or Zohar, for obvious reasons. Information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again.